What's going on? Welcome to the 9 to Fit Nutrition Method, the simple 5-step system for desk working men to lose a stubborn belly fat, build muscle definition, and stay consistent forever, cutting through all the BS. Before we get started, why you should listen to me? It's because I have a bunch of these certifications and I've been doing this for over 12 years in this field. And the proof is in the pudding. I've have over 316 plus transformations in those 12 years working in person for over 10. And a little bit about who I am and why I am so passionate about this is because I went through the extremes. I started off as the depressed, skinny, fat kid who wanted to not be invisible anymore, attract women, and look better, have more respect for myself. I got into the extreme and just ate healthy, so I put on muscle while working out. But I also was still fat, as you can tell here. About 3 years in limbo, tried doing it myself. I eventually found If It Fits Your Macros, the other side of the extreme of tracking macros, fasting, keto, and I got shredded, but I had an eating disorder. So I had to go through rehab. And then I eventually went to study this in school, got my undergrad, and eventually got my first job in corporate. So I knew all the science. I already went through the extremes. I got shredded myself. And then once I got to the corporate job, I quickly figured out after a year that these guys can't just fit the science, that has to fit their lifestyle and their preferences. I eventually became the top trainer at a big box gym and then managing trainers over time to show them my system that I've created that has helped hundreds of desk working men already. This is me today, and I live and breathe the exact system I am teaching you guys today. And its value system is propped on being sustainable for yourself, for your family, and your loved ones. So you're probably asking yourself, why can't I lose the belly fat? I'm telling you right now, it's not laziness, undisciplined, being unmotivated, or lack of willpower. It's because you've been operating on outdated information and strategies that were not meant for your life. Think of your bodybuilders and the influencers that you follow. Okay, and you're a desk working man. So you probably have heard, eat less and move more. Still true to this day, doesn't give you too much context. Now, you have the extremes on both sides, right? Cutting out carbs, low fats, no sugar, fasting on one side, right? The extremes of complete elimination. You have the other side where you track every single meal. And you have to keep doing that for the rest of your life, which is obviously not plausible with a busy lifestyle. Which leads to the all or nothing principle, which is you can't stick to it, you go back to old habits and you regain the weight back and you repeat this cycle, which I have been there myself and almost every single man that has walked through these doors. So the purpose of this guide is to show you how your body actually works with conditions that follow a desk working man's lifestyle, and then a clear nutrition system. Think of this like a video game where you're able to progress one by one, clearing each level. And then once you beat the last level, you're able to go back through it again and get better every single time. And you can do this with or without my support. There's no hype, there's no gimmicks. It's all truth that no one else has told you before. The missing piece is that you have so much decision fatigue with a desk physiology, sitting down all day, bad posture, and then you have stress fat, cortisol, basically just saying you have a lot of shit to deal with and you're not making up with it with the food that you're currently eating, and therefore you've built the wrong system this entire time. So the missing piece here is taking the current nutrition science, not blindly believing it, with behavioral psychology, putting the preferences together, and that will equal your long-term sustainability. Without one of them, it breaks. Now, the 9 to Fit Nutrition Method is one part of the Built to Last system, and I'm gonna walk you through it right now. Like I mentioned before, it breaks down like a video game, and there's about 5 levels that you need to understand and go through one by one. Some of you might be in different levels, but understanding where you are so you can keep progressing to lose the belly fat, build muscle definition, and actually do this forever. Step 1 is awareness. We just need to find your baseline. Most of us who are starting out don't know what the hell we're eating on a day-to-day basis. So this could be as simple as taking pictures of your food for 3 days, putting it in a folder, and just looking back at what you did. What this will do is give you a metabolic reset. So instead of dieting, trying all these different things, your body is fighting back already. And then also giving you a mental reset. So you're not always in diet mode. You're just like, hey, this is my normal way of living. Let's just evaluate it. Remember, this is science. We need to get the baseline first before we can make an educated decision. Now, step 2, once you've evaluated at least 3 days of food, now we're going to make sure we center your life around protein. Why? So you can look and feel a certain way. If you don't get enough protein, that means you lose muscle mass, because if you're in a calorie deficit with no protein, that's what happens. And that means you weigh less and look the same. And for most of the guys that listen to me, you look skinny fat, where you don't have that much muscle definition and you still have that gut with the waist. Okay, so the goal on the upper end is 1 gram per target body weight. So if your target body weight is 180 pounds, you're going to aim for about 180 grams per day. There's another number that you can do, which is 0.8 times your current body weight as well. This is a custom protein guide that I've created. If you want it, just DM me protein on my Instagram at Coach Chris Slay and I'll send it over. But what you want to do is now double your protein intake everywhere to get there. Because most guys are only getting about 50, 60 grams, and most of you listening to me are between 150 to 220 pounds. So whatever you're currently doing, double it with protein. So for breakfast, for example, if you're eating 2 eggs, then go for like 2 eggs and 4 egg whites. If you're having a snack of chips, it's like just swap it to a protein snack like Quest chips. And then for lunch and dinner, it's as simple as instead of eating 1 chicken breast or having 1 serving of ground beef, just have 2. Now, once you've got that base down of eating close to your protein target every day for about 2 weeks, now we can focus on eating healthier. And all that means is eating more fiber. Okay. So what we're going to do is take half your daily carbs and swap that for fiber. And what you're doing is really halving your calories while still eating more food because fiber is very filling. And think of 1 cupped hand as a serving of carbs. Most of us eat a hell of a lot more than that, because I know I do. Like imagine fries. Like who the hell just eat that many fries? If you swap that for, let's just say, asparagus, broccoli, carrots, whatever you want, veggies, fruits, lentils, you will be a lot fuller for longer. Now imagine you've already swapped that for protein. So you're eating 2x the amount of protein, and now you're eating 2x the amount of veggies, fruits, lentils, right? And decreasing, most likely, processed carbs. Doubling down on the amount of food that you're eating and decreasing the calories without thinking about it. Basic example of just doing those 2 things. So you have Jaime, who's having cornflakes, now having Magic Spoon cereal with fat-free milk. Then he was having a Philly cheesesteak sub, full foot long. He gets a full foot long still, but now he gets turkey breast and cheese and only eats half the bread. Just moves the protein over to one side. For dinner, instead of getting a Chipotle with a fully loaded bowl like cheese, double rice, everything, now it's no rice, double chicken and steak, double veggies, some lentils. Then if he has a sweet tooth at night, he instead of going for a full fat ice cream, even if it's organic, he goes to a low fat one, which is a Yasso, which tastes just as good. Or Ed, a VP of sales who's literally on the go all the time. So instead of getting a Starbucks muffin and a vanilla latte in the morning, he would just have a protein bar, protein shake, and get his iced coffee still. Instead of getting, let's say, Chinese for lunch, he'll grab chicken with broccoli with light sauce on the side instead of the General Tso's chicken. And then for a Cane's chicken, he'll go home and get freezer prepared foods and just air fry them, which tastes just as good. And then he gets a green juice because he doesn't like vegetables that much. And then for a late night snack with his daughters, that he just, instead of having Doritos, he has Quest chips. See how he's actually eating just as much food, if not more food, and still getting results. So now that you have cleared step 2 and step 3, building that foundation for a couple weeks, it's almost on automatic that you've eaten your protein and your fiber. You can start tracking on MyFitnessPal or any calorie tracking app because you have an understanding of what a plate should look like, what most of your meals should look like. If you tracked first, it's not that it's inherently wrong. It's that you will be all over the place with all your tracking. There's no basis. So you're just manually inputting all these crazy numbers in that you have no idea for. And it just becomes overwhelming really, really fast. Whereas now, most of your meals have protein, fiber. Then you can just plop in the numbers that go behind it. And then anything else that are one-offs, you can add it in and go from there. So you're going to do body weight, multiply by 10 to 12. 10 just more of aggressive calorie deficit. And then you're going to take your goal body weight, multiply by 1, and that is your protein target. Now, you're going to try to fit most of your meals to 1 calorie to 10 grams of protein per meal. And then once you realize that you still have some extra calories left over, you can throw in some fun foods. And a lot of my clients here will have, one will have candy and a soda from Poppy. One will go out to eat for ramen and tonkatsu. Some other guys like pizza and maybe some ice cream to fit in that calorie goal. Step 4. Now you have an understanding of tracking for a couple weeks. You know what? Most of the foods that you're intaking, including the nights that you go out, including the foods that you normally cook, start advancing into the lifestyle advanced category where we undulate, or fancy words of saying that we can go low days and high days. Okay. The weekly calorie target is the most important thing. Here's what I mean. For a desk working man that is busy, let's say you have a happy hour on Wednesday, you have a date night on Saturday, or you just want to go out with friends. So let's just say your daily target is 2,000 calories. So a weekly target is 14,000 calories right here. What's really cool is you can break it up as whatever way you want, as long as you hit your protein goals every single day. But then you can manipulate the calories to your liking. So if I, on Wednesday, have a happy hour, I'll gladly save some calories so I can go have more, let's say, calamari, shrimp cocktail, and have about 2 or 3 drinks on Wednesday. And then on Saturday, I can go out on date night so I could have that pasta and that pizza with wine with my girlfriend, wife. One that you guys are most familiar with is the cheat day. So a lot of low days and 1 higher day. And it's funny because this does work, But I think people just go way overboard without actually thinking about it. They have no idea where it comes from. So same principle, still 14,000 calories in the week. It's just that you have one very high day, which is 3,000 calories in this example, and you still get the same results as losing 1 pound on the scale every single week when done properly. This is where everybody goes wrong with when to start working with better quality foods. The reason why it's actually one of the last steps is because if you have gone through everything else, right, you have now understood your protein, where to get it from, which is mostly minimally processed. Then you got your fiber, which helps your digestion and helps with your stool, keeps regulating hunger. You already dropped your calories low, so you're probably losing fat already and building muscle, right? And then you get numbers behind it so you understand where to add your favorite foods, how numbers work into your lifestyle. And now we can start playing with, okay, how does my body feel with the foods I'm intaking? And this is where sourcing comes in. I mean, each one of these can have its own YouTube video. So I'm going to break it down as fast as possible with the most value. For beef, if you are talking top of the line, I want the most omega-3s and the most vitamins and minerals. You want either regenerative or grass finished. That means grass finished, the cow ate grass from birth all the way to death. If it's grass-fed, just that means one blade of grass is considered grass-fed. So you're really just dependent on the company that you're buying it from. The one that is most close to me is called Pre, but there are plenty of others. Poultry, the highest rated one is pasture-raised. The cage-free, the hormone-free, and all the other stuff is all BS. It's like very confined rules. If you want to buy the best and get the most omega-3 profile, pasture-raised is the best. And if not, get it from your local farms, as long as they don't cage their chickens. For seafood, wild caught is the best you'll get. The difference between farm raised and wild caught is very drastic. Farm raised, they add dyes to their salmon. It is fattier, which is not the worst thing in the world. Organic versus non-organic. See, here's the crazy part. Don't worry about this at all, because most organic products are still right next to the farms and fields that have non-organic pesticides, regular pesticides. And organic just means that they use their own separate pesticides, or it passes a certain trait that makes it organic overall. So look, if you want a little bit less of a pesticide profile in your body, it's like, yes, but this should definitely be one of the last things that you should worry about. At the end of the day, if you're getting Cheez-Its that are organic like this one versus regular Cheez-Its, the calories are nearly identical, so do not worry about it. Seed oil is another big contentious one. Get a bad rap because they're the most used, processed, and refined, and most of them are used for frying, and they don't change the oils. A couple things that happens with the oil. Here's how I'll break it down for you, simply. If you can control it at this point, try to stay away from it as much as possible with the foods that you make at home. The processed foods like the protein bars, protein chips, you go out to eat, don't worry about it so much. It's not worth finding a restaurant or a shop that's like 55 minutes out of the way just to get this perfectly clean thing that gives you this much return back for eating that much cleaner. That's the general rule of thumb. It's not because it's the most unhealthy thing in the world. They're actually not bad. It's just when it's fried, rancid, reused, that's where it becomes bad. Added sugar and sugar alcohol. So my take over here is that, look, sugar itself is not inherently bad. I just generally tell people to stay away from added sugars because you work behind a desk all day. Throwing in added sugars will just spike your blood sugar and it'll come back down, causing you that crash or me just smacking this microphone that I'm talking to you right now. And that's what we don't want, especially when you have a demanding desk job. Generally speaking, stay away. Same principle as the seed oils. Sugar alcohol, this is also one I'd be careful of because if you have too much of this is where it causes gut distress or you get constipated or diarrhea. It's kind of like an extreme of all each. I would just say is try to stay under about 15 grams a day. That's still pretty high for sugar alcohol. Mostly in your protein products, bleached, enriched flour. This is also something I actually just generally stay away from. So after you get through all the other stuff, now you can start worrying about where your bread's coming from. So bread alone, stone meal are great choices where the only ingredients are essentially flour, salt, water, sugar, yeast, if there's any sugar in there at all. And that's the ones we should be going for. What happens with bleached and enriched just means that they strip everything down from the flour itself, and then they add back the vitamins and minerals, in which case most of us just piss out anyways. Yes, there are even deeper layers in this, but just know that if you have a choice, I would prefer you go just the most basic stuff possible. Now that you've gone through all the phases, now the result will be belly fat loss, muscle definition and tone. Now you have new skills and habits acquired, like levels through a video game, and you didn't have to give up your favorite foods, your social life, or family time at all, which fits into your lifestyle. You want this done with you. You work behind a desk all day. You want to lose fat, build muscle. You're tired of guessing, and you want to learn how to fit into the lifestyle with the efficiency so you can get the results without thinking about this, right? And you want it to last. Book your call down below, and we'll see if we're a great fit to work together. All right. See you in the next video.